Patrick.
Buddy?
Nice hat.
Thank you.
Apropos.
Yeah.
Did that on your vacation?
A
Susie,
few years
good?
ago.
Hi, great.
Okay. For both you guys, big picture question to start off. On the heels of last year and then what you've done and what you think about the team going forward, can you give us in a nutshell some of the things that make you confident that 2024, this team's gonna start climbing back up?
I'll go Billy. In a nutshell, to your question, there's a few things. I think that a year of experience for our younger players. There's a few of them in the starting lineup: Jones, Doyle, Tovar. I think the experience for some guys in our bullpen. I think they're going to be contributors. I think we're going to stay healthier. I do. I mean, you don't know, but I think we will. It's hard not to. So I think that, gives me optimism that year of experience for our guys, health bounce back, and an improved, I think, overall rotation. That's where I'm hanging my hat.
The one thing I'd add there, I think our depth's better. I'm excited about our young guys coming. I'm looking forward to seeing them in spring training.
I guess to kind of dovetail on that, how much of spring training is going to be looking at younger guys that maybe even haven't been here yet? You may expect some by the end of the season, but how much of that is going to be the emphasis of spring training?
Yeah, well, if you look at the spring training list, which I don't think you have, right? I mean, you know who's on the 40-man roster. I don't think
No, we
haven't put out the list of 66 guys as of now,
And growing.
and growing potentially. And a lot of those guys are not on the 40-man roster, but there are names that you guys have heard: Jordan Beck, Zach Bean, Benny Montgomery, down the line. Some young Carson Palmquist, Jaden Hill. There's guys that Billy and our player development staff feel are getting closer to potentially making their breakthrough in 2024. So, we'll get our eyes on those guys in spring training, and we will, play those young guys. There will be some competition, for a number of spots, right? Maybe a handful of spots that, as we go through this, the rotation, in the bullpen, and some bench roles. I think you can project the lineup, right? You can project the lineup. And a healthy lineup, I think, is a potential two-way lineup. I think there's defense in there, right? I mean, you look at Doyle Gold Glove, Rogers Gold Glove winners, McMahon finalists, Tovar finalists. That's half the diamond who were Gold Glove guys. And we feel good about the rights. We feel good about first base defense. Right field. We'll see how that plays out. But position player wise, I think we got a lot of two-way players. And then we'll see about the pitching. But to Billy's point, the younger guys that are coming, it's going to be good for the coaching staff and I to put our eyes on those guys. We're hearing a lot of this from player development, and there's a trust that I have in their evaluation skills. And we've brushed these guys in a little bit of spring training. They call up. I see them over the course of the winter. When I pop down to Arizona, we watch video. But it's going to be good to see them really up close on a day-to-day basis.
Bill or Buddy, this could be for either Cal Quantrill and Dakota Hudson, both of them. I mean, what did you really see from both of those guys that you really thought could fit within the Rockies?
Well, I talked about it, I think it was with Patrick, when we acquired Cal. You're hoping you go back to the 22 and 180 innings. He was healthy at the end of the year, so that gives you optimism. Dakota, following his track record, we had interest in the past, but really following his career, bringing him in for competition. with the rest of our guys and really try to build depth.
And I'm gonna assume when you say competition for the rotation.
Yes.
For both of you, Bill and Buddy, what are the expectations for Marquez and Sensatella in terms of will they be cleared for spring training, or is there expectation they'll be available in April?
I would say Marquez, you're probably looking after the All-Star break.
Okay.
You know, that'll be 15 months.
Okay.
Right, yeah, it is the end of May. Sensatella, it is the end of July. Is he pitching in maybe AAA at the end of September? I don't know, I don't anticipate him up here.
Okay.
Just from the time, you know, he could be pitching in the system somewhere.
And to Buddy, to you, Kyle, it was not an up and down year, he was good, but didn't get run support at times. What is an expectation for Kyle now, given kind of where he is in his career? And
Yeah.
he might be counted on to anchor, especially early with you said that you're not ready yet.
Yeah, you're right. I think that, Kyle will look back on that year with, with a sense of, it fluctuated. You're right. I mean, we didn't score a lot of runs, overall in general. And Kyle was, in that point, one of the guys who didn't get a lot of run support. So, I think Kyle, put the year in perspective and looked at it, as a way to, truly say, what do I have to do to bounce back? And, we talked about it earlier, when he spoke to, a group in a Q&A session a couple hours ago. Changeup is critical for Kyle. That was a big part of his off season, is to incorporate a changeup that he used later in the season. It was a grip change and trying to get a feel for a change. I think there's some things with his fastball that we've learned that it's going to help him. His secondary stuff is fine, the slider and the curveball are fine, but I think it's important the changeup comes into play, and some of the things that we learned about his fastball will help too. So, as you guys know, probably as competitive as a player that I've come across. I know you talked to Todd earlier. His competitive spirit. Kyle rivals that on the pitching side, so he's got a ton of pride. I suspect this will be a good season for Kyle. I think there's, physically he feels as good as he's felt in a number of years going into the season. So, again, time will tell, but I'm really, really confident in the bounce back for Kyle.
Bud back here.
Yep.
Guy joining your division is called Schmidt. May you heard of him? I just wanted to get your thoughts on seeing him a few more times this year.
We saw him, just briefly in interleague play, but I think from a baseball fan's perspective, and in a lot of ways, I'm a baseball fan. I love baseball. Him coming into our division, I think is going to be great for the National League. He's a really good player. I mean, again, we're going to play the Dodgers 13 times. But I sort of look at it, as a challenge. This year's going to be different because he's only going to DH. He's not going to pitch. But Charlie said it best. Where I was with a Q&A with Charlie, earlier, and we got to worry about what we do as a team. When we play the Dodgers, we focus on how are the Rockies going to beat the Dodgers, and Ohtani's part of that Dodger group, along with Freeman and Betts and Muncy and Smith and the rest of the group. But I'm going to appreciate him because I'm going to be able to see him 13 times. I mean, he's a marvel. I mean, he truly is. And he's been really, 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 really good for the game.
So, just kind of going off that question, when you see a team in your division commit $1 billion to free agents, what are your thoughts about how that impacts the competitiveness, your ability to compete in the division?
Well, I think we can compete. So it's just the competitor that I am, that I know our players. I mean, for us, it's a great challenge to take down the behemoth, right? What better outcome could that be for a team to take down Goliath? And that's who they are.
I'm gonna let it go, Buddy said it the best.
All right, a couple more touch on the Dutch lines that we gotta get done.
Bill, you said at the winter meetings, kind of toward the end of winter meetings where you're asking about Ryan McMahon, and I thought you had a kind of a pointed comment. You said clearly defensively, he's an above average player, but until he starts producing the way you guys hope, he's an average player, I'm paraphrasing.
Correct.
So for him to get to become an above average player as an all-around player, what do you guys want to see from Ryan McMahon in 2024?
Offensive consistency that I think he's capable of doing. I'm not saying anything I haven't said to him. I think he's made some adjustments in the offseason. We'll see how they, when the bullets start flying. I thought I was down there last week. He looked real good, real happy where he's at, and I think he's in a good place. And hopefully he's going to do the things we hope he does.
And Buddy, can you chime in?
Yeah, I think Mac, the last couple of years, once he became established as an everyday player, I think he has shown weeks and I think months of all-star caliber play. And I think the challenge for Mac is to sort of ride those highs as long as possible, and there's going to be some valleys to come out of those valleys. So whether that's consistency, whatever word you want to use, I think with Mac it's in there, and Mac to his fault at times puts pressure on himself because he knows those expectations, and he wants to be that guy. But I think with Mac, just if he can let himself go and be who he is, I think you'll see that. He puts a lot on his shoulders, and for him at times it's unfair. He's just got to be himself and be the total player that he's talked about, Billy's talked about, we've all talked about. But it's in there, and I think this year is going to be a little different from that.
Patrick, last one.
Bill, when we met at the winter meetings, some of the areas you were looking to improve, you were able to address those. Still a left-handed outfield, veteran bat, maybe a bullpen. Still a lot of free agents out there. Might we see another addition before opening day at some point?
I'm not going to rule anything out. Yeah, we're looking for ways still to try to improve the club.
All right, well, thank you both, appreciate it.
Thanks,
We'll just
guys.
go right into Charlie Blackman's back there.
You want to stay with Charlie?